This pattern is called Ridsdale's Gem, and to dress this pattern I'm using a mustard R50 XAP size 14. For the silk, Ridsdale states red, and here I'm using a Purcell's 11A scarlet. Unusually for the body, he states turkey tail hurls, primarily the dark band that you see at the top of the tail. For the hackle, he states a grey hackle with a dark centre. Unfortunately, inside his manuscript, I found a few individual hackles trapped between the pages, so I'm going to use these here, which look to be like a kind of badger hackle. And for the tail, he states medium olive whisks. Now to dress this fly, I'm going to come in with my fly tying silk. I'm going to catch it in directly behind the eye of the hook with 6 or 7 nice tight turns. I just get my scissors and trim off that waste end of silk. And now I'm going to take another 7 turns of silk coming down the hook shank. Now I'm going to take my olive cock hackle. I'm going to pull off some of those fibres. And I just check it for length, and I'll take my scissors and just trim out the butt sections. I get a nice straight edge. Now coming in with my silk, I'm just going to take 2 wraps just to check the length of that tail, and I think that's a bit too long, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take off those 2 turns and move those tail fibres up a little bit just to shorten the tail. Something like that. I think that's pretty much got it there. Now I'm going to come with my silk, and in tight touching turns I'm going to take 4 nice tight turns. Take my scissors and just trim off those butt ends of tail fibres. And now I'm going to come in with my turkey tail hurl, and I'm just going to pull out, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 fibres. Something like that. And now I'm just going to bring in my scissors and just trim off the brittle tips to those tail fibres. Now placing on top of the hook shank, I'm going to take 3 turns of silk just to trap them in, and I can see the tail fibres have moved a little bit, so I'm just going to grip them and with my silk proceed down that hook shank in nice tight turns, just trapping those tail fibres and body hurl onto the hook. Now I'm just going to check what would be the length of the finished fly, and I like it probably just another turn more. There we go. Now taking my tying silk, I come back up that hook shank and produce a nice even and flat underbody to the fly. And now I'm going to just trap down those excess butts there and just thoroughly bind them onto the hook, like so. Now, taking the turkey hurl in my fingers, I'm going to wrap it in the same direction as my silk. What I'm trying to do is just make sure that that hurl doesn't twist. So every time I pass it from one set of fingers to the other, I'm just taking out whatever twist goes into those hurls. And now I'm just proceeding to take that turkey hurl in close turns up the body of the fly. And I'll come to just where my silk's waiting, and now I'll take a couple of really nice tight turns of silk just to bind it down, and I'll just put one in front as a belt and braces. Come in with my scissors and cut off those excess hurls. And now I'm ready to prepare my cock hackle. And as I say, Ridsdale just says a grey hackle with a dark centre, but here I'm going to use one of the badger hackles that I found in his manuscript, and I think it's just probably the right length for this hook gape. So what I'm going to do is now I'll strip off 3 or 4 hackle fibres on that leading edge, and this gives me a nice smooth edge to start off with. Now taking the silk, I'm just going to bind down that hackle stalk, and I'll come back down and just create a nice even flat foundation for the turns of hackle. Come in with my scissors and just cut off that waist end of hackle. I'll just take one more turn. There we go. Now coming in with my hackle pliers, I'm going to grip that hackle and using that leading edge of exposed hackle stalk, and now I'm going to come and wrap my hackle in nice even symmetrical turns so that hackle plane is more or less consistent all the time. Each individual wrap of hackle coming in front of the last one. Traditionally these dry flies weren't as densely hackled as we've got today, so I'm going to keep mine relatively sparse. Something like that. Now once I'm happy with the hackle density, I'm going to come in with my fly tie silk. I'm going to trap that hackle stalk down with 2 or 3 turns on top, and I'll just jam one more turn in front of the hackle. Now taking my fly tying scissors, I'll just trim off that hackle, and you can see I've got a few stray hackles here and there, so I'll just try to tidy them up, and I'll come in with my scissors and I'll just trim out those that aren't lying in the vertical plane. And there's another couple there, so I'll just snip them off as well. There we are, I'm quite happy with that. Now give the silk a nice tight tug, come in with your whip finish tool and just create a nice, neat and small head to the fly. Just tighten that silk up, come in with my scissors, trim off the silk. Any stray hackles, now's the time to really come in and tidy them up. So snip that one off, and generally that's looking quite good. So there you have Austin Ridsdale's gem.